So where can there be some issues? That's the question we frequently get. One of the issue could be in the power generation. Now, all these AI queries, they run through data centers, and data centers are simply massive power guzzlers. So, if you have to provide so much power, what is the expected power requirement for data center, the demand surge, right? And that you can see over there on the right-hand side. These are just astronomical numbers. For 2027, 55 gigawatts of power is going to be required, additional power, apart from what is already available. An additional 55 gigawatts of power is going to be required for data centers only. Now, just to put this in context, what is 55 gigawatts? What is 92 gigawatts, right? If you add all the power requirement, the additional power requirement in this chart through 2029, that is the total power installed power capacity of India in terms of thermal, hydro, and nuclear, which are the largest. That is the total installed power capacity of India. So imagine US has to add an equivalent of an entire Indian power in generation capacity over the next 3 years or 3.5 years. So that is the requirement of power. Now, this requirement of power may or may not be met because there are a lot of regulatory hurdles that are in the way. Power is not as simple as developing a software or coming along with a new LLM model. This requires physical infrastructure. It requires approvals from the regulators. And it is a complicated process because somebody has to bear the cost, and that cost has to be fairly distributed between the provider, between the data center owners who want more power. And the construct in the US in the power space is such that the cost of power is distributed equally amongst all the users. So on one hand, you want more data centers. On the other hand, you don't want the cost of power to increase drastically for uh, regular businesses or retail consumers. So there is a fight going on right now in that space, whether who should bear that cost and how much should be the distribution between the two. And it is a state by state fight because electricity is a state subject in the US. So it is a very complicated regulatory structure, and that discussions are going on right now. It will involve the state legislatures, it will involve the US Congress, it will involve the US Senate, and effectively, finally, it will involve the US President also. So it's a major hurdle right now, and uh, the US is effectively working towards it. So this is one of the points where we can see some issue going forward, but they are working on it, and the demand is just phenomenal. There is money to be spent, so there are companies willing to sign independent power agreements with power producers, but all of this takes time. And so that's what we are looking at. We are keeping a close watch at it. And obviously, if we see any issue, we will talk about it in the next few monthly meetings. So far, we don't see any major problem.